So this is a nutrition talk. So the picture kind of gives away a little bit of kind of the emphasis. Okay. My name is Ivan Velasquez, and I have a master's degree in education and exercise physiology, and I'm certified with the American College of Sports Medicine. All right, as a personal trainer. So the first point is energy density. So what is energy density? Well, before I get into that, it's not eat less. So a lot of times when we get into, trying to focus on weight loss or getting healthier, it's always, well, let me eat less. And so it's not about eating less. It's about eating more foods that make us eat less. So satiety is key. And there's a picture that comes later, but this is, you'll see the picture when it comes later. So satiety is key. Feeling full on less, and without losing taste. I'm telling you, it's going to surprise you, the stuff you see here. So nutrient density, there was a study that was done by Dr. Joel Furman. He is, he's like one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best nutrition authorities that's out there right now. And he did a study on nutrient density, and he found that people who ate a diet that was dense in nutrition, it changed their hunger. They were less hungry. So what that means is when you're feeding your body what it needs, like vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, then it's not going to crave calories because you're giving it calories that are chock full of nutrients that allow your body to perform at its best in terms of how it functions and so forth. So that's one kind of like aspect to why the nutrient density diet, at least in my opinion, that's why it reduces hunger, because you're feeding your body what it needs. In other words, you're getting the most nutrient bang for your calorie buck. So how do we do that? Well, also another thing, how do we do that? I'm gonna get into that. Like there's this chart of foods that are like ranked based on nutrient to calorie ratio. That's a big aspect to this. I'll let you can ask questions about it, because a lot of stuff, I can only put so much on a presentation, but you can ask me questions. But a nutrient dense the foods tend to be energy dilute, which kind of makes sense because if something has a lot of nutrients in it, there's not going to be any room for empty calories. It's like it literally squeezes out the calories that are empty. So it's full of nutrients and so forth, which right there is no room for empty calories. So the next slide is going to illustrate what's calorically dense versus calorically dilute. So here it is. This is a classic picture on Google, or just you find it here. The same amount of calories, the volume is vastly different. A person will not feel full on that. So they may, if you do the math, that might end up being 1,000 calories, and you actually might feel full. And this here, kind of full, all the way full. And it's only 400 calories. That's the key.
Wow.
Yeah?
All that stuff looks like it's more than 400 calories.
Yeah, no, it's 400.
No.
It is.
Isn't it like apples and...
I think that looks like asparagus, grapes, yeah.
Yeah, tomato.
Yeah.
Well, isn't like an apple like 100 calories or...
It might be. It might not be an apple. I don't know what that is.
Grapes? Is that
yeah.
grapes?
Yeah.
Grapes are high in calories.
I don't know. I think that amount might be. I think it's got to be under 100 calories.
Okay.
It's definitely it couldn't be that.
Well,
high.
yeah, maybe the amounts are kind of off.
Yeah. It's a little amount of that, a little amount of that.
I know. Yeah. No, but the thing is that. Well, okay, good. I have my first question.
No, that's a great question, actually, and it makes me think about it. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's right. There's apples and grapes,
And no, it's not that they're not good for you, because they are.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful about how much, even of apples, that you eat.
Oh, I agree.
But apples are really good because they really fill you up and they're full of fiber.
Yeah. No, so. I'm going to get into that. That's a good question. I'm going to get into that. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the ratio between
vegetables. I'll tell you that looks like squash. We're going to get into that.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
So no, that's all right. Dilution is the solution. I like that rhyme. So you have the fruits here, right? This kind of answers the question. Berries, melon, citrus. This is high. Both of these are high in water, and berries are also just that's probably your best fruit. They're actually not. They're low in calories. Yeah. Non-starchy vegetables, cruciferous leafy greens, legumes, beans equals skinny jeans. Think that. If you think that, that'll get you to eat the beans. We're going to talk about the caveats with beans.
Okay.
You know, digestive, different, all that. We're going to talk about that. Starchy vegetables, winter squash, potatoes, yams. Potatoes, I would say if you're going to eat potatoes, you want to portion control that. That's right. That would be the one you portion
And
control.
sweet over white, so it doesn't.
Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of white. Not white potatoes. I mean, you can have a
Yeah,
little
but
bit.
they're really good with like olive oil and garlic.
Yeah.
And,
But they're not very nutrient dense.
I know.
Yeah, they're not very nutrient dense. Maybe eat them a little bit, like use them as a facilitator rather than the primary
Right.
food.
I'm only kidding.
So we got intact grains, quinoa and brown rice. I'm going to get into that later. All right, so all calories are not equal. This is another example here.
Right.
Look at the space, the volume, and the caloric. This is the difference between being calorically dilute and calorically dense. All right? You would think this is going to be a lot of protein. You've got that beef patty. Only 29 grams. Look at the plant protein, 64 right here. You get to eat all of this for the same amount of calories. And you get a ton more nutrition. You get a lot less sodium, which is going to be better for blood pressure overall and health. You get a lot more fiber, which really I mean, fiber is the forgotten macro. People always think carbs, proteins, and fats, but they forget fiber. That's the forgotten macro. All right, so which calories to count? Which ones do we want to count? Grains. Just because it's a whole food, plant-based, food, grains are not the most nutrient dense. They have nutrients, but they're not dense. So when I say grain, like brown rice and stuff, I would say you want to be selective with your grains. So brown over white. If you really want to get, optimal, what's it called? Forbidden rice over brown or black rice. Portion control. You definitely want.
I'm not familiar with
I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
Portion control. You want to control the serving sizes of whole grains. I think there was a study that said at least 1 to 2 servings a day. I wouldn't go more than that.
What's considered a serving?
So if you,
Is it half a cup or a third?
that's a good question. It's going to say it on the package. So if you were to have oatmeal in the morning, you look at the back of the oatmeal container, and it'll tell you half a cup, or 2/3 or 3/4, and that's your serving.
Well, this is stupid. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I have a stupid question because I actually was wondering about this the other day. So like if somebody's saying, oh, you can have half a cup of this, a half a cup of rice or half a cup of quinoa, whatever.
Right.
Does that mean half a cup before it's cooked or half a cup?
Half a cup dry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the water is going to expand it. Carbohydrates are like sponges.
Right.
So what I mean by that is, for every gram of
So it
carbohydrate.
ends up being a lot more
Oh yeah.
than.
Yeah, it soaks up.
Right.
It looks like nothing when it's dry in the pot. When you cook it, it soaks up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for every gram of carbohydrates follows 3 grams of water. That's why when you put dry pasta in a pot and you cook it, it swells up. That's what it does.
Oh, obviously pasta's not on that list.
No, I'm just using that as an example. I'm not a fan of pasta.
No, okay, but that's what I was going to ask you. What about these new pastas?
Bean
like the
pasta.
Bean pasta.
Good.
Can you have
Absolutely.
that? Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of exciting, right?
All right.
I'm excited.
Good. The whole grains tend to be naturally energy dense. That's why I say it's good to be selective. So pick the best ones. What are the best ones? In my opinion, my humble opinion, steel cut oats or rolled oats, old fashioned, not quick.
Right.
Quinoa. Quinoa is the highest protein grain. It comes at a whopping 6 grams per serving. Quinoa. There's this bread out there that I actually really like, and the reason why I like it is because it naturally portion controls. Because if you think about it, if you have like millet or spelt or amaranth, I mean, you got to put it in you got to portion it out. Whereas with the bread, you don't have to cook it; you just put it in a toaster and it pops up. But the slice of bread naturally portion controls. You know how many calories in one slice. You have 2 slices. You know what I mean? So I'll get into that. You're gonna love the bread. It's a good bread. should contact them. They should probably give me some commission.
It's not Dave's, is it?
No. Dave's killer is not gonna. It's gonna kill weight loss. I'll tell you about it.
Oh.
This is great. I like this ad lib. So
Okay.
no, it's I call it the pinch test. So if
I want to show you something real quick. This is a flourless bread, okay? This is what I call the bread test. You can hear it. It's firm, it's coarse, doesn't fall apart, okay? This is when you know it's a healthy bread. This is flourless bread. This is sprouted grain bread, and it's coarse and it's firm, and it doesn't disintegrate or fall apart to the touch or pinching. I call this the bread test. This is how you know it's a clean, good, healthy bread. Okay, there's a science to this. So next time you're at the supermarket, grab the bread and squeeze it. If it crumbles with ease. In fact, most breads that are actually sitting at room temperature are no good. This is frozen. It means it doesn't have preservatives. It needs to be frozen to be preserved. So that's it.
a good way to know if a bread's good, and most of them are not, is the ones that are like in room temperature. If you squeeze them, if they're like mush to the squeeze, then that's just a sign of they're not very coarse and they're going to break down rapidly. It's just it tends to elevate blood sugar and insulin levels, and those things shut down fat loss in your body. But also from a health perspective, it's going to be somewhat semi-inflammatory. So typically the best breads are the ones that are frozen, because they have to be frozen for another reason. There's no preservatives in them, so they have to be frozen. But they also tend to be coarse and grainy. And they have like actual whole berries in there, like actually wheat berries. I'm going to get into that. You'll see it. All right, so we're talking about which calories to count. So it's whole grains. We count those, right? All right. So we also want to count meat, dairy, fish, and poultry. So yes, protein is very filling. It's satiating, but we also want to think about health too, not just weight loss. If this helps you to put it in perspective, it's not lose weight to get healthy. It's get healthy to lose weight. That's the best way to do it. And you're learning it here at the JCC. It's pretty cool, huh? No fibers in. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to eat these things. You can. I would say have them be more as filler. So instead of having the plate filled all the way, like a big serving of chicken or fish, have a small serving of fish and fill it up with vegetables, and maybe a small serving of grains, or you can have vegetables, just vegetables, quite frankly. And then you can have a little beans, or you can have like fruit on the side as a dessert, or you can have it as a appetizer. So there's no fiber or antioxidants in those. So while they're satiating, I think there's much better options. And then fats. So obviously fats are the highest in calories. They're twice as many calories per gram as carbs and proteins. But they should be, a way to portion control these is if you eat them as part of a meal. I have some clients who will snack on almonds, and I say that's great, it's healthy, but don't just snack on almonds. Like have almonds with berries, like with blueberries. Well, because the berries will fill you up. So you eat less of the almonds. You're not eating a whole bunch of almonds. And
they're highly caloric if you eat too many.
Yes, but fats, a lot of people won't mention this, fats actually are the least satiating nutrient of the three. So you have carbs, fats, and proteins. Proteins are the most satiating, then comes carbs, last is fat. And as you saw in that graph about the oil, saw how little it was? It's not satiating. It's a lot of calories in a small amount of space. This is the most energy-dense nutrient, fats. But they're important because if you skimp on fat in a salad dressing, if you get fat-free salad, I call it the ADEC factor. So this is vitamins A, D, E, K. All four of these are fat soluble. That means you need fat to actually absorb these effectively. Otherwise, your body doesn't absorb them.
So you
have malabsorption.
So you shouldn't eat your salad without dressing then?
You can actually use a low-fat or a full-fat dressing. Yeah, I would actually recommend you have a little fat because greens, which is what salads are made of, are very high in vitamin K. Yeah, leafy greens are huge. They're abundant in vitamin K. So if you add dressing, now you're going to absorb more vitamin K. And also the nuts with berries, it's a synergistic, it's a synergy. The
Right.
berries are full of antioxidants, probably have some of these vitamins perhaps, and now you're going to help them absorb better. And so you create synergy, and now you're getting healthier, and you're going to start to lose weight. Your body's just going to function better.
That's interesting.
Yeah.